I do believe that we are live. So I must say, at this juncture, that since we have pink sky and morning, you should all take heed to this stern warning. The end is near! Or something. Be very spooked of things. Now, here are the list of things to be spooked of. Zombies! The pole shift! It's totally more than a blip, but it's totally a blip on the geologic radar, that pole shift. Whoa! And check it out, folks. Look at that. Look at that. 4 plastic tubs. Because another thing to be scared of is the EMPs. Oh, look out. EMPs could be coming your way. Ooh, they could be solar-induced EMPs. Oh. So when you see that pink sky and warning, folks, make sure you take warning. By the way, I'm wearing an electromagnetic frequency reflecting hat right now. It keeps the Schumann resonances from interfering with my brain waves. That way they can't control me with their 5G towers. This hat foils 5G towers. Available at our Amazon store, of course. So what's going on today, YouTube? Are you taking warning, as are we here at the Smash News Network, least busted naming news? We'll cover your questions, which you'll leave in the comments if you know what's good for you. Meanwhile, I'll take an intermission while some people arrive and leave comments. And I'll go gather news stories for your amusement and indeed amazement. Here at the Smash News Network, least busted naming news, we tell you when to repent, which sins to repent from, and which cult compounds to move into. So you're welcome for that. It's a value-added service. We'll be talking about news stories, space weather, and even Earth weather. Yes, the weather on Earth. That's part of the way that I got into space weather in the first place. See, Earth weather's a little too easy to forecast, folks. A little too easy. Is your sin the inability to understand weather? Well, we can cure your affliction here at the Smash News Network, least busted naming news. We'll teach you how to forecast your weather. We will teach you how to forecast your weather. And you'll look like a star. You'll say, the reason that it's happening is because of the water vapor. Or maybe because of the dry, massive air. The reason the tornado formed was not because of the moist air from the Pacific and the Gulf of Mexico, or the Gulf of America, or whatever you'd prefer to call it. The tornado was caused by the dry, massive, cold air moving in from Canada. That's what makes the U.S. plains the tornado capital of the world. It's because of the cold air, not because of the hot air that people who don't understand meteorology blow. And thanks for leaving a comment, Ahmad. And hello to you as well. I can't talk in a ridiculous and contrived voice when I'm saying hi to viewers because I feel like a complete dolt. So yeah, I mean, solar activity's been pretty low here, despite having lots of sunspots, and it's because our sunspots aren't super magnetically complex. But check it out, the radial flux, we do have a possibility for large solar flares. We could see certainly X-class events, and we could see an earthly directed CME. So it's all hands on deck for space weather monitoring. It's exciting times, actually, for space weather. So we're going to take a look at filaments, actually, because there's some stuff going on, and I want to see oh man, look at the massive filaments around that sunspot. Yo! So many filaments on the Earth side of the disk. And one of them might have just recently ejected. I think one of them did. Yes, we may have an earthly directed CME here, folks. Is there an earthly directed coronal mass ejection? Let's see. Oh, we just had a big one blast off. All right, check it out here. I'm going to show you this hydrogen alpha imagery here from the National Sunspot Observatory. That is from El Teide, Spain. And right over here, let's see, right here, look at this filament. Now, probably not going to be earthly directed. Right there, you can see it blast off. Probably not going to be earthly directed, but, and I will get to your other comments here in just a minute. I just want to finish talking about this filament. We do see a massive filament ejection here. So that one's probably going to be off to the west based on what we see here. But look at all these other filaments, massive filaments, 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 filaments. And this sunspot here is the one to watch. So this has got the highest likelihood of X-class solar flares. And we're going to look at the magnetism in a minute. But first, we're going to look at the coronagraphs. So let's see. Coronagraph, we'll look at the LASCO C2 and C3. That filament blasted off sometime around midday yesterday. So let's see what we got going on there. Could be earthly directed. So fingers crossed for that. I was watching it as it happened yesterday, but I haven't followed up until now because space weather moves at the speed of, well, hundreds of kilometers per second. We've got the missing data. You got to love the missing data, right? So yeah, not sure if it's earthly directed, but I will check one of the better space weather forecasts, the HUXT from University of Reading. And rather than worry about trying to figure it out, I will just show the animation and make all of our lives easier. That's what we do on the channel. We make people's lives easier, not harder. We're interested in factual information, so that has a tendency to empower people. That's what we do on the channel. We empower people. We cast light on a dark, dark subject fraught with nonsense. Oh, geez. What the hell? Media format. There we go. All right. Something was funky going on there. And what do we got? We have one out of the west. Yep. We've got one out of the west, but it's not earthly directed. So here's the HUXT-Enlil spiral. And so it's chilling. It's chilling. Let's talk news stories here. I guess, well, let's stick with space weather until, because we do have to, let's just, let's bring up a little animation. We're gonna zoom way in on these sunspots here. We're just gonna show the intensity gram animation. Remember, folks, big sunspots do not necessarily equate to big solar flares. Keep in mind, coronal mass ejections and sunspots are separate phenomena as well. All right, so see how these things have evolved in the past several hours. We've only got 40 frames there, so that's a pretty current animation. Yes. All right. Those sunspots are pretty stable there. No major changes. Let's take a look at the Come on, man. That's okay, Windows. I'll give you a minute to think about it. You take your time. Oh, geez. Oh, man. What the hell? Completely crashed. Completely crashed my browser. That's what happens when you have 67 tabs open, folks. All right, let's try that again. It didn't like those 4,000 by 4,000 images. Windows was like, oh, I'm noping out of this. It's because I have multiple things open because of printing wheel stickers. All right, so let me get your comments here while things attempt to reinitialize themselves. Ahmad, your English is fantastic, Ahmad. I mean, don't blame me, comma, I don't know English well. I think you do, because that's pretty good English right there. You put the comma in the right place. All you're missing is the period there. So that's you get a 92 there on that sentence. That's a B plus or an A, depending on. Yes, I am a cyclist, so that's why I have jerseys back here. This is my race team. I ride for the local bike shop called theveloshop.net. Please visit it for all your cycling needs. Tell Becky that Dan sent you. And then I'm also paid to ride a bike by my employer. And of course, we advertise our own YouTube channel there, the Smash News Network, least busted name in news, as well as we tie everything together. I do lots of things, and part of the reason I do space weather is because it was far too easy to forecast Earth's weather. With the data that we have, forecasting your own weather is super, super, super easy, not challenging in any way, especially over a 24-hour term, and for a very specific location. The only reason your meteorologist is typically going to be wrong, folks, is because they're forecasting a broadcast area. And broadcast areas are often an entire tri-state region. So that's hard to forecast for, because, sometimes you have a mountain ridge going across there or something, right? That massively affects what will happen with your forecast. So just to give you some background there, I needed additional challenges because I stagnate on things quickly. I need additional challenges, so space weather, was an appropriate challenge. And so that is what happened. All right, so here we go. We've got our browser back here, back to the realm of the living, and we've closed down some unnecessary apps. So let me zoom out here. We'll get the right zoom. Pardon the guerrilla filming, but YouTube algorithms can be adequately blamed for that. So here are the zoom-ins of these sunspots. Dag. So there are still some deltas there. So there is still the possibility for X-class solar flares, which is exciting because that's what we want to see. We also have massive plasma filaments around there. So, and look at the radio flux. Look at this sudden increase in everything. So this could be a double peak of solar cycle 25, folks. Look at that. The radio flux is all the way up to 228 solar flux units. Sunspot number is all the way up to 210 sunspots. Look at that. 210, baby. That is legit number of sunspots. So yeah, that's what's going on. Here is the past 2.5 hours from the GOES 19 SUVI. Look at that massive crown prominence there. That is a feature that you see around solar maximum. So solar maximum just rages on. It rages on. We have some flaring here on the western limb. But look at that crown prominence. That's one of the best crown prominences of solar cycle 25. So, seeing prominences around the poles, those are the least common places to see prominences. So we've got a great one right here going on right now. It is coming from the foreground a little bit. And there's some reorientation there. There's a little bit of filamentary collapse, as well as the CME blasting off right now, which will come out of the north. So some of that material will make its way as it orbits magnetic field lines. Remember, folks, the plasma orients to the magnetic field lines. The plasma is not magic. The plasma does have its own magnetic fields, but it does orient itself to the magnetic field lines. So it's forced to orbit those magnetic field lines. The plasma, think of it as atomic magnets. Think of each proton as like a bullet flying through space, but it's a highly magnetic bullet because it has no electron. Most of those hydrogen atoms have no electron. All right, so Judo Chop 9 says it's just a matter of when. I don't know what that means. That's way too vague, and that is certainly nothing resembling a forecast. So, yeah, it's just a matter of when. It's just a matter of when you put a coherent comment in the comments. Angelica Jones says hi. Hi, Angelica Jones. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't forget to press subscribe. We have 1 like, and we've had about 50 viewers, I think, since the video started. So please press the like button, share, comment. Thanks to everybody who has. To the rest of you, stop lurking. Press a thing. These videos aren't free. They're super expensive. So press a thing. David Tonstad, what's up? Cheers. Ahmad Hitchum says, I did not understand this live topic. Well, the live topic is whatever we want to talk about. That's what the morning streams are about. So we're not going to be on super long today, probably like less than an hour total time. We'll talk about news stories. We'll talk about space weather, earth weather, and whatever our viewers happen to bring up. So that's part of the purpose of this. We always put provocative names in thumbnails because they're daily live streams. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, this channel was built on over 6 years of the world's most comprehensive daily space weather content and the most detailed solar imagery you'd find anywhere. But because of incentives and lack thereof, these videos are now the daily space weather more or less. So we used to cover everything every day, and now we just don't because incentives and lack thereof. So news stories, we're going to cover whatever I want. If you'd like to guide the stream, then leave a comment. And even if you're viewing in syndication, leave a comment anyway. We read all comments, even if we are unable to respond to every single one. So let's see. There was a thing at a place where there was some activity that is extremely unfortunate, and I will be that vague because we don't want this video to be deboosted, demonetized, etc. So there was a thing at a place where a good guy with a thing probably stopped a bad guy with a thing or something like that. But I'm not going to cover it because it's too controversial for for coverage. Let's see. China says trilateral nuclear disarmament talks with U.S. and Russia unreasonable. Yeah, China, Russia, and the U.S. are not going to they're not going to go, we're just going to disarm ourselves, since all kinds of other countries have nukes. Like China, Russia, and the U.S. are going to keep their nukes. It's cute that people want them to get rid of their nukes, but they're going to keep their nukes as a deterrent at the very least. The likelihood they're going to use them as an offensive weapon is so low. I mean, think about how the world would view a country that uses nukes. It would not be appreciated. The same way stratospheric aerosol injection would not be appreciated by most nations, because most people are sane and they don't want man-made particles in the stratosphere for years at a time. Oh, Berkshire Hathaway is rapidly getting rid of their sidelined cash, because here is another purchase from Berkshire Hathaway. They've now they've invested in the housing sector. So this was to build their dividend portfolio. Warren Buffett likes stocks that pay dividends. So they bought some Nucor, NYSE symbol NUE, 1.1 billion. So 1.1 billion into home builders Lennar and D.R. Horton. So expecting a housing boom here, clearly. And that's what you should expect, because there's a lot of money getting made, and there's only a hell of a lot more money about to get made. Like, there's going to be cash just coming out the you-know-what. So Yeah, that's a smart move. Lots of people are going to be buying real estate. Lots of people are going to be building new homes. So get ready for it. It's coming, and it's going to be totally sweet. Hopefully, it will push housing prices down. That would be optimal. So, value investors can affect your sticker price. Warren Buffett helps to facilitate that. He's not just a source for good advice on your portfolio, he's a source for good economic outcomes, period, on the greater economy. Warren Buffett is that influential. He's like an economist. He's an economist who works as an investor. He understands the economy et al., as opposed to thinking that the economy is a stock market or something, or thinking that the economy is the revenues produced from tariffs. For everybody who's concerned that the dollar won't be the world reserve currency, think again. Like, what? What do you think is going to be the reserve currency? The euro, the yen, the yuan? Like, what? They're all worse currencies. Are you kidding me? All of those currencies are more inflated than the dollar. So, duh. And and all this nonsense about, oh, we should lower interest rates. We should definitely raise interest rates, because the incentive to save money is like zero. It's look, I'm not I'm calling balls and strikes here, because it would benefit me to have lower interest rates, but it benefits the greater economy to have higher interest rates, because inflation does a lot of damage to the middle class, the poor, and the elderly. And there's lots of poor, middle class, and elderly in the US. So, like, lower interest rates harm them because they incentivize lending, which is inflation. You're adding money to the money supply. So all of their money, all of their fixed assets go down in value. All of their sideline cash goes down in value because inflation. It's more money in the money supply. Like, most people, when they say inflation, they mean price inflation, and they should use the term price ahead of inflation, because price inflation isn't inflation. Inflation is a devaluation of your dollars. Because if there's $1 trillion in the supply and you add $1 trillion to the supply, now there's $2 trillion. You just had a 50% inflation. Like, now all your $1 trillion are worth half as much, because now there's another $1 trillion circulating dollars. That's how inflation works. The lower the interest rates are, the more lending occurs, the more new money gets created out of thin air and injected into the money supply. That's real inflation. Price inflation is a lagging indicator of that. So, I mean, look, if you don't believe me, listen to Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff, he was, when Ron Paul ran for president, Peter Schiff was Ron Paul's economic advisor. So if you're into, like, Austrian economics and, less government, less centralized control over the economy and things like that, then you are 100% for Peter Schiff. All right. Seems like a really, really, really boring news day. NVIDIA stock soared 35,000% over the past decade, but it's not the top chick stop. It's not the top chick stop or chip stock. Broadcom, oh man, I remember when Broadcom IPO'd. Cisco was going berserk, and Rambus went nuts. And also Qualcomm. I mean, dude, that was one of my first major stock wins, was Qualcomm. Qualcomm, loved it. It was so good. I invested in CDMA technology, like, before everybody had digital